talk a little bit about Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, my man, um, went through probably, I mean, I presume, which was probably one of the scariest moments of this man's life, uh, where he basically, and for those of you that don't know, so basically what happened was Alec Baldwin was shooting a movie in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and they were on location, and they're in the middle of this like 23-day shoot. It was like a low budget movie. And they were in the middle of the shoot, and I guess for one of the scenes, Alec Baldwin had to pull the gun out of his holster and fire it. And he pulls the gun out and he fires the gun, and it turns out there's actual rounds of ammunition within the gun. And so he fires it a couple times, and he ends up hitting the director. The director's injured, and then he ends up, unfortunately, someone catches the crossfire of it, gets hit, and eventually that person is killed. And she was a cinematographer on the set. And her name was Halia Hutchins, I believe. And she was killed, and she eventually passed. She was killed and she passed away. So very unfortunate circumstances. This leads me to a lot of questioning, though. We like on this show, we like to put on the little tinfoil hat. But let's talk about Alec Baldwin first and the facts, right? Like, I feel like this is a very tough situation, no matter what you're in. Like, if you are Alec Baldwin in this situation, this is just a loss. You either take a life and have to basically deal with the mental trauma surrounding that fact, or you potentially have the chance to go to jail, right? Like the whole situation, whatever has gone down for you, sucks, right? There's so much trauma surrounding this event. For Alec Baldwin in particular, and obviously the families that were affected by the injuries, and not only injuries to the person, but also the killing of one of the cinematographers on the set, right? Like, there's obviously a lot of stuff that happened, and not to take away the spotlight from those people, but I mean, we got to talk about Alec because I mean, he's such a high profile celebrity guy. I mean, this was covered all over the news. Like, this was not just, a Los Angeles like gossip headline on page 16 of Variety. This was on, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, like your basic cable television news programs. And I think it leads us to this conversation that we need to have, that maybe film crews need to do a better job of, safety and gun safety in particular. There were several interviews with like assistant directors and kind of producers who were also, located on set, who said that there were, several instances of like, and actors too, who were like a part of the movie, who were like shot and killed, quote unquote, like their roles were. And they basically said that like, it felt really unsafe. You could feel kind of the blanks hit you. Like, it to them, like the whole set felt like a really unsafe place. There was a lack of gun safety checks. There was a lack of accountability from all parts. It just felt like a whole kind of disastrous situation in general. And there were several misfires that took place on the set. There was no precautions. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, what is going on? Like, I feel like if you're on a movie set, you should take into account of all of these things, right? Like, you figure, you're in Hollywood, you're working with a big name star like Alec Baldwin. You may not want to like, jeopardize his name so that, you can get a good rap. Like, I don't know what the fuck the producers were thinking, if I'm gonna be honest. It just seemed like, I mean, I don't know. I get it's low budget, and I get you're an indie film and you're trying to like make it off the ground and all this stuff. That totally makes sense. But what are you guys thinking? Like, what are they thinking, man? Like, I don't know. Like, to me, this whole situation feels a little weird. And so I'm going to put the tinfoil hat on now. Okay. Like, I think this gun could have been tampered with. Like, it doesn't put it, like, nothing puts it past the fact that this whole situation could totally just be like tampering, right? Or someone trying to get at Alec. Maybe not necessarily like try to target and kill someone on set, but trying to get at Alec Baldwin, right? I mean, Alec Baldwin, like, what is he best known for in Gen Z's eyes? He's best known for as the guy who played Donald Trump on SNL. Listen, Donald Trump was an extremely polarizing figure, and there are a lot of crazy Trumpies out there. Okay, this is my tinfoil hat on. I want to make this very clear. This is like not founded by any evidence or anything. There are a lot of crazy Trumpies out there. There are a lot of crazy people, who like associate Alec Baldwin with Donald Trump and him making fun of their leader and all this stuff. And maybe, there could have been a Trumpy on set. Maybe there could have been someone who was conservative who may have had a motive and boom, like, just kind of effed up the gun and, shot him. I don't know. I don't know. That's a total conspiracy, though. That is an absolute conspiracy theory. Perhaps it's true. Perhaps it's not. We'll see how it all kind of shakes out. But I really do believe that. I mean, like, based on the evidence and like the news reports that I've read, it does seem like there is a lot of um, evidence to point that this was like a complete misfire, that the prop staff, that the staff of the film had not been doing a good job of like taking care of these basic precautions. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty sad, honestly, just to see like the fact that someone was like lost their life, and this whole situation could have totally been prevented because with maybe a couple safety procedures, with maybe checking the guns. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I think it's just people not doing their jobs correctly or people being a little lazy, which is kind of unfortunate. But I guess two questions sort of that come to mind to wrap this Alec Baldwin story up. The first thing is like, what is Alec Baldwin going to get charged for? Right. Like, I don't know kind of the lawyer terms or the legality, but I was looking into it. And I think that manslaughter is definitely one charge that is on the table for Alec Baldwin. I think they are looking into murder charges for him. I'm not necessarily like completely sure what kind of intricacies to the murder they're charging, like murder charges they're charging. They could charge him for. It's all semantics, and law is a lot of, I do not have a law degree. I did not go to law school. So I don't know all the lawyer jargon. But there definitely is, they are looking into other charges besides manslaughter for Alec Baldwin. So it could potentially, I don't think it will end up in jail time just because of the fact that I was obviously not his fault. Maybe, we'll see. But the police are investigating the whole situation. So we should see something if there is more that meets the eye to this story. But this is definitely a story to watch out for. This is definitely something to talk about. I think it's a really interesting one. And it's pretty crazy. And it's been trending all over the news media recently. So I thought I would kind of share my thoughts about it. I hope Alec Baldwin, I'm going to presume that Alec Baldwin is innocent. I think most of us do. So I really do feel bad for the guy. It wasn't his fault. They clearly didn't want Boss Baby 3. Like, I don't know what exactly happened. And listen, my conspiracy theory could be totally false, but I I don't know. I don't know. This is Hollywood. You don't know what goes on. There's a lot of weird shit that happens behind the scenes, like we don't know about as the normal commonplace people. AKA the kid who's literally sitting in his bedroom just, speculating about what potentially could come of this. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a crazy situation. And it should be fun to kind of get into once all of this one initial hype kind of fades out. I will update you guys if I do see anything more interesting. So I'll say that.